Hey, Sacraments class, how we doing? Mr. Urso here. I wanted to do a little feedback video with you for this week to give you some helpful hints and some insights. Number one, about some of the things that I noticed in your week one submissions, but also number two, how is it that you get my instructor feedback for the different assignments, especially in some cases if some points were deducted. I could understand that being somewhat frustrating if you see that the assignment was worth 30 points and you earned 25 out of 30 and you don't know where to go for the instructor feedback to know why you've earned only 25 out of 30 points. So this video will also attempt to answer some of that. Okay, first, we're going to talk quickly about the part review questions. Real straightforward. These are submitted to Shobi every single week. They're worth 20 points. As long as they're submitted according to the instructions, and you guys know the instructions by now, right? Basically, they have to be handwritten. You have to write out the questions. You have to write out the answers. You have to put a proper heading at the top. You have to sign the bottom. And you have to compile all of your images into one document. As long as that's done and the questions are answered appropriately, then you earn the points for that assignment for the week. Points are deducted, of course, if the assignment is not done correctly. In any event, on the last page of your submitted assignment, I provide you with instructor feedback. If you see that you've earned full credit, you'll see that the feedback says something to the effect of checked and graded, Mr. Urso, or if points were deducted, there's some explanation given to that as well, why points were deducted. But you'll find that feedback on the last page of your submitted assignment on Shobi. Let's talk quickly about the Google Classroom submissions. The Google Classroom submissions are for two different assignments. We have the interactive assignment every week, and we also have the discussion assignment every week. So those two assignments are graded identically. Number one, you'll earn 10 points for the assignment for creating your own original post according to the instructions that are given to you in the prompt. As long as you do that, 10 points are yours right off the bat. Number two, you'll earn 10 points for submitting responses to two classmates, 5 points each. So for example, I've had some students that earn 15 out of 20 points. Why do they earn 15 out of 20 points? Well, because they wrote a really good post in response to my question. They replied to one classmate, but then they never replied to a second classmate. So hence the 15 out of 20 points. Or in some cases, they wrote a really good response to my post, but didn't reply to any classmates. And in that case, they earned 10 out of 20 points. So that's a really easy way to ensure that you're earning the maximum amount of points. And again, that feedback is provided for you by the prompt itself. You can see literally on the page the posts that you are posting within those assignments. Okay, I'm going to move quickly to the Turnitin assignments. So the two Turnitin assignments that we have in our class are the vocabulary quizzes and the application or extension projects that you guys work on every week. These are essentially essays, and they're essays that are to be written according to certain guidelines. So some of the big reasons why people lose points on these. Number one, not following the instructions within the assignment themselves. Every single week, these assignments have a prompt that's listed on the assignment sheet. And as you walk through the prompt itself, you'll see that there are certain parts of the question that need to be answered. Not answering every part of the question or answering them incompletely, that's obviously going to be grounds for losing some points right there. When it comes to the vocabulary quizzes specifically, students will lose points on those sometimes for improperly formatting vocabulary words. For a vocabulary word to be properly formatted, it has to be fully capitalized, not just the first letter, but rather fully capitalized. That draws my attention to the word within the text and helps me to see that you're using that word in that context. That also brings me to another reason why some students lose points on vocabulary quizzes, and that's using vocabulary words but not in their proper context. So the prompt isn't necessarily calling for you just to use a vocabulary word and show me that you know what it means, but rather to use a vocabulary word in its proper context. And in order for that to happen, you have to be faithful to what the question is actually asking you. All right, so this past week's question was, they were asking you to talk about that video that was produced by Chris Stefanik, talking about the 5 points that he was making within his video, and then you'd relate one of the vocabulary words to one of the points that he was making. So simply talking about a vocabulary word and defining it, if it's not relating to the point that he's making, is not using that word in its proper context. So that would also be cause for a student to perhaps lose some points on that. Another reason some students lose points on vocabulary quizzes has to do with not following MLA conventions. All right, so one of the things that we need to make sure that we're doing is following basically every single MLA guideline that you guys are learning in your English classes, and that includes having a works cited page. That also goes for the extension projects as well. Works cited pages are required for every single Turnitin submission. In every single case, you'll be using your textbook. On one hand, I'm asking you to cross-reference material from your textbook, be it vocabulary, be it in the case of, like for example, in the week 2 extension lesson, you're being asked to cross-reference the gifts and the fruits of the Holy Spirit, and I give you the page references within the textbook as well. So you're going to be using your textbook and your works cited every single week. Also, in some cases, you're going to have to cite, for example, a video. The Christophanic video you would have had to have cited for your week 1 vocabulary quiz prompt in order to complete that. For the week 1 extension project prompt, you would have had to have listed in your works cited the Bishop Thomas video, right? The video where Bishop Thomas is being installed as the Bishop of Las Vegas. That would have been expected to have been a part of your works cited page over there. All right. The last thing I want to talk quickly about are the interactive tests, right? The interactive tests themselves. The tests, there's a link provided on the application sheet, and my expectation is that these tests are the very last thing that you do in the week, because they kind of assume that you have already learned the material, that you've gone through it, that you've completed all of the other assignments, and essentially everything that you've done up until that point is fair game. I've had a couple of students that'll click on the test as one of the first things they do during the week, and unless you've gone through every single one of the assignments, it's going to be really difficult to complete the test and get a good grade on it. So test is meant to be, to use an expression, a summative type of an assessment, meaning it's a summary of everything that we've learned and talked about over the course of the week. So please take that in kind. I'm not there to basically ensure that you're clicking on that test link last, but my advice to you is click on that test link last so that you're able to have gone through all of the other material that week and try to get the best grade that you possibly can on that test. All right? In addition to this video, I'm also going to list a couple of resources that can guide you to specifically where some feedback is going to be offered for you. Going back to Turnitin really quickly. You're going to want to go to the originally submitted file in order to see the feedback that I give to you on every Turnitin submission. You might not see it initially, but if you know where to look for it, the feedback is always there. I'll provide you with a link with some instructions on how to access that feedback in the very same assignment folder that I'm going to put this video in, so that you'll have that right over there, okay? But other than that, I thought this was a great first week to our class. Many students are doing very, very well so far. Some students are within range of doing very well so far. So let's just keep up the good work. And if you have any questions, I'm here in room 305 at Bishop Gorman High School Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. through 2 p.m. every single day. Over the course of summer enrichment, please schedule an appointment with me via email or give us a call down here at the school, and I'll be happy to meet with you. Of course, if it's outside of hours, weekends, things like that, I may not be able to get to your emails or phone calls in a timely fashion, but we'll do our best to make sure that we're answering your questions over our office hours, okay? Thanks. Have a great week. Good luck doing your week 2 assignments. God bless, and we will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye.